like I was 3 minutes late. Welcome everyone to the City of Joliet Council meeting here on Tuesday, February 20th at 6:30. Our proceedings will be run by our mayor, Terry Darcy. We'll have invocation for Father Chris Groats of St. Mary's Magdalene, who will then lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us turn our hearts and our thoughts and our minds to the Lord. Almighty God, we are so grateful for the many gifts you bestow upon us, and for all that you continue to do for us, and for the many favors which you give us. We gather tonight in your name. We ask your enlightenment so that everything that is done this evening may be done with your inspiration and wisdom. God of wisdom and justice, it is through you that authority is administered, laws are enacted, and judgments are decreed. Guide and support our mayor, the members of our city council, our city manager, and our city staff. Give them the strength to know your will, so that all their decisions may be pleasing to you. May their work be conducted with righteousness, and may they always promote what is for the good and welfare of all the people of Joliet. We likewise commend to your care the residents of our city, that they too may be sanctified and blessed, so that we may work together for the betterment of our community and enjoy the blessings promised to those who remain faithful to you. For we pray to you, our Lord and God, now and forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's good to see you.
Thanks, Father Chris. You will.
Thanks, Father.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
We'll begin with roll call. Mayor Darcy.
Here.
Councilman Cardenas.
Here.
Councilman Clement.
Here.
Councilman Guerrero.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilwoman Ibarra. Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Here.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Here.
First on the agenda tonight is a presentation, Joliet Area African American Historic Context Study by Jane Bernard, City Planner and Liaison to the Historic Preservation Commission.
Good evening. Thank you. On tonight's agenda are several resolutions related to this project, and I was asked to give a short presentation to give you some background, review the project, and answer any questions. So for some background, in June of 2023, the city, through its Historic Preservation Commission, sought a certified local government grant to fund a Black Historic and Cultural Resources Survey of the south end and south side of the city. And tonight I have here Candace Johnson, who's the chair of the Joliet Historic Preservation Commission, as well as Quinn Adamowski, who also sits on the commission. This CLG grant program is only available to 83 municipalities in the state of Illinois that have been certified by the Illinois State Historic Preservation Office. And over the past several years, the city has been successful in obtaining and leveraging this grant program for historic preservation and planning projects. So the commission wanted to focus on the south end and the south side for several reasons. The first is that this was the initial primary area of settlement for Joliet area Black residents. And this was due to a variety of factors, one of which was housing discrimination. An example being the 1937 Homeowners Loan Corporation map of Joliet. Oops, let's go back. Which categorized Joliet into 4 groups. Those neighborhoods that the HOLC determined to have the highest mortgage lending risks were shaded red. The HOLC map essentially codified the exclusion of home sales to citizens of specific racial and ethnic groups. having adverse ramifications that continue to this day. And this is known by many as the redlining map, and there's 200 of these in the United States of America. They did many large cities. The commission also wanted to draw on period resources such as the 1958-59 Brown Book Directory, which was published by Joliet's only Black newspaper. This directory highlights the economic vibrancy of the Joliet area Black community in the South End and South Side, which had numerous Black-owned businesses and social institutions. And the Brown Book makes clear South Chicago Street's status as the Black community's main street. Third, the commission wanted to further understand the ramifications of the Interstate 80 bifurcating the south side of Joliet, which happened in the early 1960s. And fourth, there is a desire to place Route 66 history in context with the Joliet area Black community in preparation for the centennial of Route 66 in 2026. The state of Illinois enthusiastically funded this grant request, noting that they would like to give more communities in the state this type of funding to do this type of project. The state of Illinois' Historic Preservation Office also suggested that the project be broadened to include all places and people associated with the African American and Black experience in the greater Joliet area. They also suggested that this be a historic context study that documents the history and culture of the Joliet area Black community rather than a historic resource survey project that focuses on places that only exist and that have historical and architectural integrity. This context study will include traditional historical research as well as input from the Joliet area Black community. So project goals, it's to document Joliet area Black history in an accurate narrative, acknowledge racial injustice using history, recognize historic properties important to the Joliet area Black community, record Black voices for future generations, and place Route 66 history into context with the Black community. What would be a project deliverable? I've gotten this question a couple times. So this is a context study report that will contain a comprehensive history of the Joliet area's Black community from the first residents through the late 20th century. It'll also contain defined historical themes connected with the Black experience in Joliet and associated places connected to this history. This study will not sit on a shelf. This project will result in community conversations and forge or new and reestablish community partnerships through the history of diversity, equity, and inclusion in Joliet. It'll help ensure that the city and its partners are inclusive and equitable with long-range planning efforts. And finally, I want to note that a required deliverable of this project will be 2 public education presentations on topics derived from the findings of this context study. In recognition that this project needs to include areas outside of the city limits to be comprehensive and meaningful, such as Preston Heights, Manningdale, and Fairmont, we reached out to Joliet and Lockport Townships, as well as the Will County Historic Preservation Commission, and they all eagerly committed funding to this project. The city of Joliet has also committed additional funding to this project. And I'll note too that this project was enthusiastically endorsed by the African American Business Association, with whom Chairman Chris Parker is here tonight, the Joliet Area Historical Museum, State Representative Walsh, State Senator Ventura, and Will County Executive Jennifer Bertino-Tarrant. For next steps, tonight we have the City Council review and hopefully approval of the grant agreement with the state of Illinois, and then intergovernmental agreements to launch this project. A steering committee will be meeting in the near future to further frame out the project and the request for qualifications. There will be a release of the RFQ, and then a consultant firm or team will be selected, which the contract will come back to the council for final approval. And then the project will be launched. And I want to just close by saying we want to hear from the Joliet people about this project. We have a webpage which is not populated yet, but that is the link. The email address is live, blackhistory@joliet.gov, and then people can go on our city's website and sign up to actually see updates as updates are posted. And with that, I can answer any questions.
comment. A few years back, probably more than a few years, and are you familiar with Bonnie Winfrey?
Bonnie Winfrey?
Bonnie Winfrey, not
No.
to be confused. Okay.
Yes.
She and her husband, years ago, did a documentary CD. I have it somewhere.
Okay.
In regards to Catherine Dunham. Catherine Dunham was a dancer and went to Europe and did the modern dance. Anyway, the tape of her life is she grew up on Bluff Street. Her parents had a business there, and she went to Farragut Grade School, which is in the Cathedral area, and that's where she's from. And there's a story that was told that she was on the basketball team, and they went downstate to one of the playoffs, and that school refused to have her there because she was African American and the only African American on the team. So the team said, we'll forfeit the game unless she can go with us. And in the end, they went and won. So that's a good part of history. And since you didn't know about it, that could probably be incorporated in somehow. So we can contact Bonnie. I'm sure she still has the
Okay, I'll
tape.
reach out to you. Thank you.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that you include the Black churches. A lot of history in the Black community resides within the churches. And as the generations go by, stories get lost. So I know that Succa Baptist is the oldest Black church.
Yes.
And probably holds a good part of that history. So I would suggest you include them
Okay,
in
thanks.
this process.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next this evening is a proclamation honoring Joe Bellman's 100th birthday.
So, Mr. Bellman, thank you for being here. I had the pleasure, I was fortunate enough to be able to attend the birthday celebration for Mr. Bellman this Saturday, and it was a full house, quite the turnout. It was very impressive, and shared some sentiments there that I think were shared with some of the other community leaders that were present, but it can't be said enough. It can't be said enough times that we're so grateful for the work that you've done, the pioneering work that allowed for people like myself to even sit up at that dais. That wouldn't have been possible without the pioneering work that you laid down decades before a guy like Cesar Guerrero even existed. So one more time, just a sincere gratitude and thank you from me and all of the other young rising community leaders who wouldn't be here without your work. So, whereas born on February 20th, 1924, in the town of Pontiac, Illinois, Joseph L. Bellman emerged into a world characterized by a unique blend of simplicity and fortitude, symbolizing the commencement of an extraordinary journey. And whereas, amidst the challenges of youth, Joe found unexpected joy and tranquility working on the Mississippi River, an experience that eventually led him to enlist in the Air Force during World War II. And whereas, as a B-17 Flying Fortress ball turret gunner, Joe's wartime experiences exposed him to the dangers of anti-aircraft fire and enemy fighters. And whereas in 1947, Staff Sergeant Bellman's life took a new direction as he married Irene, and together they shared 59 wonderful years. Yet his commitment to service and advocacy persisted beyond his wartime discharge. And whereas Staff Sergeant Bellman's involvement in the Citizens Utility Board, the Will County Jury Commission, leadership roles in the American GI Forum, and the Illinois Hispanic Democratic Council showcased his enduring dedication to community welfare. And whereas Staff Sergeant Bellman's impact extended beyond the titles he held, with involvement in youth development, coaching various sports and leadership in workers' unions, earning him numerous accolades. And whereas Joe Bellman's life exemplifies the principles of democracy, equality, and empowerment, inspiring and guiding generations to come, leaving an indelible mark on the landscape of labor and community service. Now, therefore, I, Terry Darcy, Mayor of the City of Joliet, Illinois, on behalf of the Joliet City Council, do hereby congratulate Joe Bellman on his 100th birthday.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I wish to extend my thanks to Mayor Darcy for all that he's done, not only for the community of Joliet, but in my case, he, since 1992, he has supported me in every indication, every bit, and every opportunity I've had to help the community of Joliet. He donated in every affair and helped in every affair, and I couldn't thank an individual any more than I could thank him. The city of Joliet has been wonderful to me. I was born in Lockport and lived 86 years over there, but 90% of my time was spent at Joliet. I went to Joliet Catholic High, and I've been here most of the time, more so than Lockport. But thank you very much, everybody. I'm happy to receive this award. It's being a veteran. I also want to let you know that City of Joliet has so many more veterans than myself. Now, there are people who have stood up for their country and supported it, and I think that an awful lot more could be done for them, because there's probably an awful lot of them that are gone, but at one time they served for the best of their ability and did the best for the country. We should never forget them, and definitely they deserve all the praise and everything else, and never to be forgotten by these people here today. Thank you very much, everybody.
Just so happens to be his birthday, actually.
I know that.
Happy birthday.
Thanks for coming in on your birthday, Mr. Bellman.
Hey, picture. Come on, everybody. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Bellman. Happy birthday to you.
I just want to say a couple things. Joe Bellman, I met you when you were the age I am right now, and you've been a role model to me, and I hope I can accomplish in my next 32 years what I've seen you do in the 32 years I've known you. So you have my respect and gratitude for everything you've done, and I hope to be half the man you are, Joe, so thank you.
Next is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So moved.
Second.
And motion seconded to approve. Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Citizens to be heard on agenda items. Chris Parker. If there's anyone else that would like to speak on an agenda item, I ask that you line up in the center aisle. Once the aisle is depleted, we will move on to the next item.
All right, I'll ask some ABBA board directors that are here to stand with us. So good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. With regards to tonight's presentation on the Joliet Area African American Historic Context Study by Jane Bernhard, the African American Business Association and its 16-person board is here to urge support of the matter. ABBA is aligned with the purpose of this project and understand the end result should be to document Joliet large area Black history in an accurate narrative, to acknowledge racial injustice using history, to recognize historic properties important to the Black community, to challenge misinformation about the Black experience, and to record Black voices for future generations. But the most important for ABBA is that the findings of this study is used for long-range planning efforts for the city of Joliet. We understand that there's work to do, and we are agreeing to partner with the city with regard to the work that is long overdue for the African American community at large within the city of Joliet. For all of these reasons, we support this project and we ask for full and continued support of the entire city council on this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I would just move to speak in regards to the honorary sign for Louise Coleman Drive. With the historical study that was presented today in regards of the South End, I was just compelled to just speak on behalf of the honorary street just being very fitting for it being the South End and honoring my mother-in-law, Louise Coleman, with Louise Coleman Drive. So I ask for all of your support in supporting all of the efforts for the South End effort, end of town, and especially honoring my mother-in-law and the loss of her, respectfully. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very sorry for your loss, Kendra.
Next is council committee reports, Communication Technology and Information Systems report.
Okay. The CTIS committee met February 7th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. in the executive conference room. Present were Suzanne Ibarra, Cesar Cardenas, and myself and city staff. We had 4 award of contracts to discuss. First is to Martin Whalen Office Solutions for managed print services. We've been very happy with the service they provided to the city and have awarded a 12-month renewal of contract in the amount of $48,000. Next award of contract to Granicus for GovQA FOIA software in the amount of $27,747. This is the software that all of our departments use for the FOIA requests. Next, an award of contract to CDWG for the annual renewal of Barracuda Cloud Backup Service in the amount of $58,800. This is where all of our Microsoft software gets backed up to, including all of our emails. And then last, an award of contract to Lenovo for $77,716 for the 2024 life cycle program for our computer, desktops, and laptops. It's estimated that 30% of all of our computers will need updating. The desktops life cycle are 5 years, the laptops are 4 years. We discussed all of these various contracts and what went into them, what we used all these different companies for, and we all voted unanimously to bring them forth to the council for approval. Anybody else? Anything else? Okay, that's our report.
Thank you.
Finance Committee report.
The Finance Committee met here earlier this evening at 5:30. On the committee is Councilwoman Quillman and Councilman Larry Hug. It was a very short agenda, but with a couple of very important items. The one item here has to do with payment of water bills that are delinquent. Our current rule calls for a 25% down payment, and it is found from the staff that that is unaffordable. It has been changed, it's going to be asked to be changed by the council to the lesser of 2 months' bill or 25%, whatever is lesser. If your bill is $2,400 or lower, we're looking for you to pay $100 a month, and if it's $2,400 or more, would like you to still pay that same 100 over a 24-month period. Leak credit is something that's been addressed here for a number of years. There has not been a specific rule on it. Moving ahead, the credit that you can receive for a leak that is not your responsibility is going to be 6 months. Other financial items, being that we're just finishing the first month of the year, very little to report on the fiscal year. The general fund and reserves are tracking better than they did in 23. The state income tax is lower based on the state reports from that. The library made their report to us, that they will be receiving their money here shortly, and they're gonna pay their grant off ahead of time. That's my report, unless somebody would like to add to it.
Somebody said no.
Thank you.
Public Service Committee report.
Excuse me. Public Service Committee met today here at 4:30 in the council chambers. On the committee is Councilman Guerrero, Councilman Mudron, and myself. Also in attendance was the Director of Public Works and the Director of Public Utilities, as well as their senior engineers. It was relatively short and routine. Under contracts, we did look at a contract for a well repair. The well pump and motor had to be repaired, went out unexpectedly for $117,195. We also looked at a professional engineering services contract for the design of the Pilcher Park Highland Avenue, owned by the city, culvert, so that can be designed at $45,721. We also looked at a couple of contract items for the sanitary sewer investigations. One is rehabilitation, design by RJN Group Incorporated at $494,526, based on the monitoring and data collected previously. Now we go in and we fix the portions of the sanitary sewer that need to be fixed. And then the second one was actually to an annual service agreement for the sewer system monitoring for $63,522. This one, the Far West residents will be happy, especially those along the Theodore corridor. We did take a look at a almost $6 million contract for the widening and resurfacing of Theodore to Austin Tyler Construction Incorporated from, I believe, if I remember correctly, Greg, that was from, what was, I know,
River to Westmere, basically.
River to Westmere.
Yes.
And it included one of the lights.
Yeah, there'll be a traffic signal installed at Westmere. There's already one at River Road.
Right, and
This
we
will
have
be the
one
first
more
of
that I think
two.
we're
The
doing.
second one will be on what we're calling Project 1B, which goes from Westmere to Droughton. There'll be a traffic signal installed on at Droughton. We have grant funding that will likely take place in 2025.
And this is a project that I think we're north of 5 years we've been involved with.
Yes.
It is being funded by state grant, fully, a $9 million grant from the, what was the name of the grant again? I'm sorry, Greg.
Yeah, it's Rebuild Illinois
Rebuild
funds.
Illinois
Yeah.
grant. And the entire amount will be from that grant from the state. So that's good news for those that travel up and down, Theodore, essentially from 59 all the way out to Ridge Road. This is another big piece of that puzzle. We did have one change order, and that was a professional services agreement for design for the city square, west of Chicago Street from Van Buren to Clinton, to Civil Tech Engineering Incorporated in the amount of $257,345. It's technically a change order, but it's not like something new had happened. It's essentially pivoting to the next phase of the project. Civil Tech had already, we've approved it, and already did the $80,000 view as engineers of the downtown improvement. And now, since the funding has been secured and the council is moving forward, and approved moving forward with it, they have to go to the actual nuts and bolts design now. That's all it is. There's no curveballs there. It's just the next phase. Under ordinance and resolutions, it was mainly housekeeping. We had a couple of easement grants, one from the Joliet Park District, another one from District 86, that allowing us to put water mains on their property. And then we approved, reviewed the resolution appropriating the Rebuild Illinois bonds, because like motor fuel tax, we're required to do that for the $3.6 million Theodore Road improvement. And we also did, that's good news, we also did look at real estate sales out on Bell Road, which will be an important pumping station for our overall regional. It will belong to the Prairie Water Commission. It's part of the alternative water, switching to Lake Michigan by 2030. So that was a huge development that went rather smoothly, I would say, and then we're thankful for that. We are going to get another Starbucks, and we looked at their application for a drive-through. It is out next to the dollar store on Hopold. So it's positioned in a commercial area, so we did look at that. And then we had a non-revenue water update, and the long and the short of that is, the improvements continue as required so that we can, maintain our allotment from the Lake Michigan Compact. Not seeing necessarily a drop in the water loss of roughly 30% as quickly as we want. So we looked at a contract for a consulting firm that specializes in really drilling deeper and solving these problems too, helping our staff with that problem. They've done it for other major cities. One of the ones that was mentioned was Washington, D.C., had great success. So we looked at that, and I think we all unanimously thought that was a great idea because we do want to get down to that 10% by 2030. So we looked at all of these contracts, change orders, and so forth, and unanimously sent all of them forward to this council with our committee's recommendation to approve. Did I miss anything? No? Okay. That would be my report, Mayor.
Thank you.
I show no other reports. Moving on, under consent agenda, approval of the minutes. It's recommended the minutes of the pre-council meeting held on February 5th, 2024, and the minutes of the council meeting held on February 6th, 2024 stand approved as recorded. Invoices to be paid. It's recommended this report be approved. Council Memo 79-24, award of contract to CDWG for the annual renewal of Barracuda Cloud Backup Services in the amount of $56,280. Council Memo 80-24, award of contract to Martin Whalen for managed print services. Council Memo 81-24, award of contract to Granicus for GovQA FOIA software in the amount of $27,747.68. Council Memo 82-24, award of contract to Lenovo for 2024 PC Life Cycle Program in the amount of $77,716. Council Memo 83-24, award of contract for professional engineering services for the design of the Pilcher Park Highland Avenue culvert to Willett Hoffman and Associates in the amount of $45,721. Council Memo 84-24, professional services agreement for the 2024 sanitary sewer investigations and rehabilitation program to RJN Group in the amount of $494,526. Council Memo 85-24, professional services agreement for the 2024 annual service agreement for sewer system monitoring to Xylem View in the amount of $63,522. Council Memo 86-24, magnet forensics renewal for Gray Key for the Joliet Police Department Investigations Division. Council Memo 87-24, approve emergency repairs to the well 23D to Great Lakes Water Resources Group in the amount of $117,195. Council Memo 88-24, amendment number 1 for the professional services agreement for the design of Joliet City Square west of Chicago Street from Van Buren Street to Clinton Street to Civil Tech Engineering in an amount not to exceed $257,345. It's recommended Council Memo 79-24 through 88-24 be approved. Is there a motion to approve all said consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any comments on these? I want to slow it down so if there are comments, we can make sure everybody gets their voice heard. Everybody's good, then we can go to the vote.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under agenda item, Council Memo 90-24, award of contract for the Theodore Street Widen and Resurface Project to Austin Tyler Construction in the amount of $3,592,706.33. It's recommended Council Memo 90-24 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments?
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under licenses and permit applications, Council Memo 92-24, an application for a drive-through permit for a Starbucks restaurant at 480 Hobolt Road. It's recommended this drive-through permit be approved.
Discussion. The applicant is right there, right? Would you mind coming up for a second? Since we didn't get an opportunity at pre-council to ask any questions, I was a little bit concerned with the amount of Starbucks in a very short proximity, but I would imagine that you've done your homework very well, and you would not be putting Starbucks where you didn't think they would make money, therefore this will make tax dollars for the city of Joliet, is that correct?
Yes, and an excellent point you're making, because they are expanding so rapidly these days and putting several stores into larger communities. Joliet's considered a regional community, and it really gets to balance of distribution. I'll cite an example. We did a store in the city on Western Avenue. The store was doing so much business that the city urged them to open another store nearby to balance out the daily distribution of traffic. And so it's really about distribution outlets, coverage a little bit. They'll cannibalize a store here or there, but they're increasing their coverage tremendously, but they're also doing it in a more distributable way. So it really has to do a lot with that. But yes, they brought us to the site. They did their case studies, the traffic patterns, neighboring communities that maybe they felt they weren't offering the amenity to, and felt this was a great spot.
Well, that's exciting for the city of Joliet then. Thank you.
Oh, well, and this is their new prototype, so it's actually a slightly larger store with a little more seating. So it's kind of different from anything probably you've seen. So it'll look really nice. Thank you.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So before the Oscars, are you bringing back the big pink cups to cause chaos again?
At Starbucks? Did they
Yeah.
have pink? Oh, I didn't even know this. I'm still getting over the Christmas cups are gone.
Oh, you gotta get up to speed.
I'm finally just getting the regular cups. They're still showing Christmas.
It was a nightmare.
Oh, yeah. But, well, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate your consideration. We're excited to be here, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, I was just gonna make a comment. You'll probably do okay during the school year with that little institution nearby, JJC.
Oh, yeah, that's
You'll
a
probably
big
be
part
okay.
of it too. We have 4 or 5 on the docket, and they're either near large high schools or colleges, junior colleges or 4 years. So
Yeah.
it is a great amenity. The students do love it.
They'll love it, yeah.
Just avoid it in the afternoons. I know by the high school, it's like 3 o'clock. I'm like, I'm not going there. So yeah. Well, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve Council Memo 92-24, an application for a drive-through permit for a Starbucks restaurant at 480 Hobart Road?
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under resolutions, Council Memo 96-24, a resolution accepting grant of easements for the Hickory Creek East and West Park 2024 water main improvement projects. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second. Any comments? Thank
The
you.
motion seconded to approve. Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 97-24, resolution accepting grant of easement for the Parkview North 2024 water main improvement project. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Thank you.
Been motion seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is Council Memo 98-24, resolution approving an honorary street name, Louise Coleman Drive for South Joliet Street between McDonough Street and Monroe Street. It's recommended said resolution be approved.
So moved.
Discussion.
Sure. Well, we have a first, but let's take a second, then we can have comments.
Okay.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any comments?
Yes, thank you so much, Mayor. I just want to say for the family, literally from the day that your loved one passed away, I was getting calls, texts, emails, and people were stopping me at the grocery store to tell me how it was not even a full day, how this woman changed their life, how she changed the trajectory of who they were, how she watched out not only for them, but everyone in the neighborhood. This was like the mom, the grandma, and the person who was the caretaker for this entire South End. So I just wanted to say that to see a plan from the beginning to the end, and I wanted to make sure this was something the family wanted, because just because the whole community wants it doesn't mean the family wants it. It's very emotional for me to see this come to tonight. So I just wanted to say thank you so much.
Any other comments? Thank you.
Is motion seconded to approve? Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Next is Council Memo 99-24, a resolution to accept and implement a grant from the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity under Public Act 103-0006. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So move.
Second.
Any comments? Thank you.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 100-24, resolutions associated with the Joliet Area African American Historic Context Study. This includes a resolution approving an intergovernmental grant agreement with the State of Illinois Department of Natural Resources for the Joliet Area African American Historic Context Study, a resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Joliet and Joliet Township concerning the Joliet Area African American Historic Context Study, a resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Joliet and Lockport Township concerning the Joliet Area African American Historic Context Study, and a resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Joliet and Will County concerning the Joliet Area African American Historic Context Study. It's recommended said resolutions be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Any comment?
Here, let me-
Sure.
I just want to say, Mr. Parker, you came up and spoke earlier, and I wholeheartedly agree with you that I think it's so important that not only the study be conducted, but that the findings of which, be used to guide our decision-making and as we plan and move forward for the city. I think there was, early on, one of the first slides in the presentation that we saw had the image of redlining happening here within the city of Joliet. And while we might know that, such a thing exists, to see it recorded in documented history, I think is a history that we can't ignore. And I worked for the 2020 census in what they call the difficult to count census tracts. I've worked with the Illinois DCO, Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, and where they have recognized zip codes, recognized areas of low income or lacking in economic opportunity, areas that they want to emphasize and invest in. And if you overlay that with the redlining map, I mean, they're almost 1-for-1 matches. And so we can't ignore the persistent effects that redlining had within our community, right? And when we look at the neighborhoods, the blocks that need our help and need our support the most, we have to acknowledge the historical context for that. So I just want to thank you for addressing that and kind of giving us that orientation that not only do we perform and conclude this study, but what do we do with it then, right? Now, how do we take that one step further? So again, I'm fully in support of this, and I hope to see this go through.
Thank you.
Question? Mayor?
Sure.
So, Mr. Parks, or whoever's involved in this, will you be working with Mr. Johnson, who's working on the Cassidy House, making that a museum as well for Black history? Is this totally separate? They can't work together? What's the deal?
Yes, we're working with everyone. Mr. Johnson's here, actually. We've
Oh,
spoken
sorry,
about this
it's-
project. Yes, so.
I'm looking over here, I never paid
Yeah.
attention, sorry. Mr. Johnson.
In terms of next steps, we're at the point now where we're starting to really get a frame out the project. So to Councilwoman Ibarra's comment about involving the churches, I mean, absolutely yes. So Chris and I and several others will be getting together to start listing out the names of groups and the people and the places, and so all of that will start to be framed out.
And one more question for you, get back to Catherine Dunham.
Yep.
We did have a statue of her that was made. Do we know where it is now? Because it was moved. It used to be at Union Station.
I don't know. I do remember it being moved. I thought the plan was to be put back, but I can find out.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Thank you.
Did motion and seconded to approve Council Memo 100-24 resolutions associated with the Joliet Area African American Historic Context Study. Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 101-24, resolution appropriating Rebuild Illinois bond funds for the Theodore Street Widen and Resurface Project in the amount of $3,592,706.33. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Thank you.
Been motion seconded to approve. Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra? Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 102-24, a resolution authorizing approval and execution of a real estate sales agreement for the purchase of real property, 12550 Bell Road. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Guerrero?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is the city manager's report.
I have nothing to report this week.
Public comments. Jim Lanham. If there's anyone else that would like to speak under public comments this evening, I ask you line up in the center aisle. Once the center aisle is exhausted, we'll move on to the next item.
How's everyone doing? If you guys remember the last time I was here, last November, I made mention of predators among us. And as a warning to people, I said, one may smile and want to smile as a predator. At the time, some of you knew what I was talking about, and I think given recent events, you now know what I meant. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I want to talk about the sanctuary city stuff that's been going on recently, and I'd like to ask the council officially to say yes to saying no. Declare Joliet a non-sanctuary city, like many local municipalities have. Such a decree needs some backing to it, though. We need to tell the federal and state governments what they need to do to fix this situation. To the federal government, close the border. If we can't handle the numbers we have now due to a lack of things such as money, infrastructure, and resources, adding thousands each day is self-defeating. Stop declaring economic refugees asylum seekers. Asylum seekers are people that came from places like the old Soviet Union, North Korea, Iran, communist China, and Cuba, for more legitimate purposes than just being broke. They're coming here and being granted things that working people do not get. That's like getting an application for a job and getting pay and benefits for years while they decide to hire you. To our state governments, stop recklessly spending our money. $42.5 million was put in the 2024 fiscal year budget. Then in November, an additional $160 million was spent, for a total of $478 million since this crisis has started. That could have been used to fix our pension crisis, ease property tax burden in Illinois, which is among the worst in the nation, or help our underserved communities who are now being ignored in favor of non-citizens. And they're rightfully angry. Angry especially when their leaders are being called by local officials, calling them racist and greedy, which is absolutely insulting and not true. They're just objecting to the way their tax dollars are spent. These communities will certainly remember this come November and beyond. Even locally, an asylum seeker was recently arrested at the Econo Lodge, less than 1,000 feet from my house, for violently stabbing someone. Now, mind you, the Econo Lodge is not a fixed address. This person isn't closely monitored at all, and they got cashless bail thanks to the Safety Act. Stabbed someone multiple times and free to go. And then with no fixed address, where's she gonna go? Is she gonna be back amongst us and hurt people? I don't know. I don't like that at all. So if we declare ourselves not a sanctuary city, maybe it'll stop some of these shenanigans from coming here and happening. Also, I'm gonna readdress too the Inspector General reports, which have not been released. I'm still asking for it. I want that report. I mentioned it and I was interviewed in it. As I said, me and several others were slandered by some accusations. This report cleared us. Please release it. It's only fair. We've released other reports. We released a museum report. That was a big waste anyway. But if you release that report, there's no reason you can't release the report that I was interested in. And also, I'd like to have an ordinance drafted that from now on, all future IG reports upon completion should be immediately released. There's no reason to not release them. It's our money that's being spent on them, our information. Let us know what our money was spent on. Thank you.
Next is mayor and council comments.
Okay. We're gonna start with Sherry.
First, Sherry.
You can keep going. I can go? Okay. Well, then I just want to say congratulations one more time to Mr. Bellman on his 100th year birthday, and also to Ms. Coleman. Congratulations to her and her family. I know she's gone, but I know how her family brought me to tears up here. They're obviously two lives very well lived, so congratulations. That's it.
Well, I didn't have time to think, no. Just kidding. I saw in the paper.
We're going this way. That's why we started here.
I know.
Okay.
I was kidding.
Okay.
Don't you know? Anyway, I saw in the paper today where Joliet West girls bowling team took state.
Oh,
and I thought that was very amazing.
That is great.
And I think we should have them come down here and do a resolution, because I don't have all the details. I was looking it up. I left my paper at home, but I thought that was great, so we should give them a shout out. So I was very proud of them. And I attended Mr. Bellman's birthday party briefly on Saturday. Oh my goodness, there were so many people there, and the mariachi band was fabulous. It was really fabulous. Sorry I couldn't stay. As I had another event to go to at Bicentennial Park to honor all the volunteers that work there all year round. And it was a nice little party. It was the 80s thing, and people came dressed up, and it was quite cute, and it was a very good time for all. But we wanted to honor our volunteers that help keep Bicentennial Park going as well. So I'm done. Thank you. Your turn, Pat.
Okay, staying with the athletic side then. This past weekend, many wrestlers from the Joliet area participated in the state tournament. We were fortunate to have one champion, Dylan Johnson from Joliet Catholic High, has won his 4th straight championship and is involved with the team event this week, and we wish them all the luck in the world. That's it.
I just want to thank History on Wheels, Luther and his wife. They presented all of us with a 150-year-old piece of wallpaper that came out of the Cassidy house, and it was framed nicely, had our names, and that was such a nice thing. So I want to remind everyone that the gala is coming up, and I know that he would love to see all of us there. So thank you for that. I also wanted to say it always amazes me when I'm stopped in a grocery store, or I get an email, a phone call. There are a lot of people that really watch these city council meetings. So although there's only, there's maybe 24 here tonight, I want to say that it's just amazing how watched that this is, and it's important for us to speak with clarity and fairness while we're up here, because so many people are watching these meetings, and probably little kids too. So I just want to remind everyone of that. And I also attended Mr. Bellman's birthday, and it's amazing to see 100-year-old gentlemen out on the dance floor with their mariachis, encouraging everyone else to come out on the dance floor. So congratulations to the Coleman family, and I will turn that over to the next person.
The problem here is by the time it gets to me, all the good things have been said.
You don't say.
Oh, you forgot, Larry.
No, you know, again, you know, congratulations to the Coleman family as well as to Joe Bellman, who I met in 2011. And he's done more since 2011 than most people do in a lifetime. So very, very, very deserving of being honored. That's all I have.
We get it now. I think that covers everything.
Not so easy down there, is it?
I'm not liking this at all.
You'll have your turn next week.
I'm joking.
Joe, anything? Caesar? Well, I was gone for a week, so I don't have a whole lot of pearls of wisdom today. Really kind of nice to decompress. But, you know, it's really nice to see Louise Coleman honored. What a wonderful person. Joe Bellman, you know, those are our role models, and we all want to follow in their footsteps. So, anyway, I don't have much in the Joe. We should do a proclamation for that team. That's really cool. So, that's all I got.
I'll get some more info for you.
Okay.
I did receive a request for closed session. Is there a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel, collective bargaining, land acquisition or conveyance pending or threatened litigation, after which the meeting will be adjourned?
So moved.
Second.
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried.